Oh, hi, I'm Rayford, and thank you for joining me for some more Paragon. I want to cover a hero that I've actually gotten kind of a request from recently, and one that I feel with a recent buff has found her way back into the meta. That's right, Lieutenant Belica, the anti-caster that if you play Gideon or Gadget or the Fae, Muriel, Decker, any number of heroes with large mana pools, you have learned to fear, mainly because she can destroy your life. And I think I found a great build that works well for life destruction. Let's dive in and we'll take a look and cover some of the gameplay that I've got recorded for her. I want to note that I've got two decks set up for Belica. I have main Belica, which is for mid lane, and I've got off Bay for off lane. There's a couple of differences between these two decks. We'll go ahead and cover what they are here in just a few minutes, but for now I want to show off the mid lane deck. To start, you're going to grab the healer token and the cast token. Note that there is a second cast token there in case early game you find yourself with a spare card point, but don't have anything that you can put it into. It's there, so you can get a little bit of extra damage, and then sell it off later. It's fine. Do whatever you want with it. Love it, don't love it, I don't care. Next up, you're going to grab the 6-point Sage's Ward. Keep yourself safe, ward up that jungle, ward up, I don't know, their jungle, your lane, whatever. Definitely ward up something though, because otherwise why do you have the card? After that, I generally grab the Adamant Edge with the 2 minor strikes and lesser health, followed by the Burst Engine with the 2 minor strikes and the basic Chrono, just for some extra mana regeneration. Following that, grab the Burst Engine with the 3 minor casts, and the Adamant Edge with the 3 lesser healths. You can note that you can grab these in any order. If the enemy team is being super aggressive in mid lane, you can grab this Adamant Edge with the lesser healths to give yourself a little bit of survivability. Otherwise, if you don't really find that you need any of the mana regeneration, grab the Burst Engine prior to the other Burst Engine. Eventually, you're going to sell the 6-point Sage's Ward for the 12-point Sage's Ward and start dropping off some of your 6-point cards for Teleblink, Infinity Stream, and Hydroverser. I do want to note that you can also grab Honor the Pure in place of Teleblink. Honor the Pure obviously gives you and your team a shield based on your level, compared to the Teleblink, which lets you just sort of get out of danger. Belica doesn't really have a whole lot of mobility. Once you've exhausted her only escape, which is the Seismic Assault, then she doesn't have a way really to get out of any kind of sticky situations, and the Teleblink really helps out with that a great deal. However, if you find yourself kind of forced into a bit of a support role, that's why Honor the Pure is there. Finally, you end up grabbing the Silver Spear with the 2 major casts in Divine Heal. Divine Heal gives you some health regeneration, and major casts for extra damage. At the end of the day, you end up with Hydroverser, Infinity Stream, Teleblink, Silver Spear, Sage's Ward, and generally one of these, the Burst Engines. I find myself going with 3 with minor cast, but entirely up to you, again, kind of based on your situation. Diving into Off Bay, you'll see that there's right away a lot more consumables. There's also this Lord's Ward. This is what you grab first if you're playing off lane. You grab this, you run into the jungle, and you drop this thing down. That way you keep yourself safe a little bit longer. After you drop it, you back and sell it. I like to grab the healer token and the health potion. I find that my mana management is pretty decent, so I don't really worry about keeping my mana like really up too high very often. So again, health potion for me. You can grab the mana potion if you have trouble kind of managing your mana, or the enemy team is being aggressive and you're just having to expend a lot more mana than you can keep up with. There is also a cast token and a scout's wards there, just in case in case you need the scout ward or the cast token. Again, in case you find yourself with a spare card point early game, grab it, do some extra damage, and then get rid of it. After that, the build is essentially the same. Grab the 6-point Sage's Ward, the 6-point Burst Engine. Do know that there's only one of these compared to 2 in the other deck. The one that had the mana regeneration it basically got the axe, mainly because I couldn't get it in without going over the 40 card limit. You can, if you want, swap out one of these cards for the Burst Engine and be at that 40 cards. Entirely up to you. After that, Adamant Edge, start swapping cards out. You end up again with Hydroverser, Infinity Stream, Teleblink, or Honor the Pure, Silver Spear, Sage's Ward, and again, generally for me, this Burst Engine with some mana regeneration. With all that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and dive into some gameplay. I can show off just how I play with Belica in mid lane. So in this matchup, I'm up against enemy Countess. Countess isn't an ideal match, but if you play smart, you can actually just go ahead and play around her strengths and some of your weaknesses and such. One thing as a mid laner that I want to point out is that you really want to keep track of when the match hits that 3-minute mark. Unfortunately, I kind of space out for a second and don't really realize that it's 3 minutes, because that's when river buffs initially spawn. I decided to run over and try and grab the left one, but unfortunately enemy Kwang is there and he collects it before I can go ahead and grab it. So I know that he's going to try and run over and pinch me, same with the enemy Countess. I drop my Void Drone to try and sap away any of their mana, as well as punish them in case they use abilities. Fortunately, it's just enough to go ahead and chase them off, but it leaves me super weak. I just try and salvage the situation by autoing minions and trying to do some extra damage, get my CXP up as quickly as I can. You'll notice that I grab my Seismic Assault. It's the final ability I unlock, and actually pays off in spades because Countess ran behind me, used her Dark Tide, blinked in, killed me, but I managed to stun her before she actually managed to kill me, and I secured the kill. Drone placement as Belica in mid lane is pretty crucial. You'll see that I actually dropped the drone on top of my minions, and I essentially just stand in front of it. Had Countess been over there, I would have went ahead and been able to sap away her mana without her really being able to get to my drone. Now here we are. You'll notice that I'm actually pushed pretty far back. At this point, it was by design that I had been pushed this far back. As a tip, you can actually poke enemy team with damage, and that will actually draw the minions to you so they can chase you closer to the tower. Farming under a tower is actually a technique that took me a little bit to learn, but I found that it actually is pretty crucial. As Belica, again, you don't really have a whole lot of escape mechanics. Once you throw out the Seismic Assault, then that's kind of all you got. All you can really do is hope to self-bomb, and that they're going to be hesitant to walk into that. So again, farming under tower, crucial tip for staying safe in mid lane, and in fact in off lane as well. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's something I really recommend that people try to learn and get a better hang for. So here we are. Our team has done pretty well, but I see that our Fae is going out on the enemy Murdoch. I know that's going to be a pretty tough matchup for the Fae, so I decided I'm going to go ahead and rotate over and try and lend some support. It's a good thing I do because our Fae is just getting shredded. I try and throw down my Seismic Assault, but miss because I'm a noob. And fortunately, I'm able to just ult off that Murdoch. Fae, fortunately, benefited from that because she was super weak. Rotating as a mid laner is pretty crucial. You want to try and make sure that your tower is either safe or can take a few hits while you rotate over, just to protect your team and try and lend fire support where it can. Now I'm over in the jungle and I see that there's a slight skirmish breaking out. There's going to be 2 of my team, 4 of theirs, so I try and throw down my drone. I place it a little bit too far back, unfortunately, and I see that Murdoch is going to go ahead and try and ult my team member. He managed to pull it off. I don't know how, but I'm like, all right, well, I'm out. I run, I drop my Nova Bomb, and then try and just auto some of this Countess. Turns out the enemy team actually ran through my Void Drone, and I drop a Void Bomb next to them to try and dissuade them and body block for my Fae. We actually managed to end up killing the Richter. Our Countess goes in, kills their Kwang, and I managed to go ahead and secure the kill on their Murdoch, netting us a 3-player kill and a guaranteed push on their mid lane tower. Here I am, minding my own business in the jungle, when I notice that Richter is actually about to try and drop into my team. While trying to decide where to drop my drone, he drops off the ledge to try and kill our Fang Mao. In midair, I throw down the drone and then throw out to the Seismic Assault. Seismic Assault and the drone can both go through walls, so it's highly recommended that's where you try and cast them from. I try and run away, but I notice that the enemy team is still going in, so I'm like, well, we're just going to do some damage. I went ahead and threw down my Void Bomb where I could, and popped my ult on the enemy Kwang for 387 damage. On an enemy hero that has about 400 mana, that's still a pretty good chunk. Now we're pushing right with the Fae, pushing in on the enemy's tier 2 tower, and getting a good amount of damage. And when I see Aurora coming after us, I throw down my Void Drone a little bit too far back, and Aurora ults us. I thought I was out of range, unfortunately not, but I managed to pop her with my Seismic Assault and save me a little bit of damage. She goes in, Hoarfrost me, but I self-bombed, so she actually took a major hit. At this point I know she's weak, but she's got a lot of mana, but she's weak. And I can actually ult her down for 172 damage and my 6th kill of the game. Fortunately, I actually managed to escape this unscathed. Now with Hydroverser and the Infinity Stream, I'm sitting on something like 190 extra power. Lets my bomb detonate for 439 damage, which is a huge chunk of health. I don't care who you are. I'm also sitting on, with Belica's ult, about an extra 30 power or so. Her ult does now scale with card power, but it's based on 0.15% of the card power that you have. I would love to go ahead and show you guys the rest of this match, but the fact of the matter is the enemy team actually surrenders in like about 3 minutes or so while I'm back spending card points, so there's not really much to go ahead and show. But I do want to say that Belica now is a fantastic hero. I feel like she's in a pretty good spot. I do think she's going to get a slight tune here in just a little bit, maybe, but it shouldn't be anything too drastic. This enemy team comp wasn't ideal for her. Again, she is best off against, say, like a Howitzer or a Gideon or a Gadget, some kind of enemy hero that has a ton of mana, and that she can just go ahead and melt down with her drone and her ultimate. If you find yourself in need of a mid laner and the enemy team has already secured, one of those 3 heroes, or like the Fae, any hero with a lot of mana, then I highly recommend trying out Belica. She's a blast to play as, and I've been enjoying her a great deal. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button down below. It helps me out a great deal. Maybe consider subscribing, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.